All right, folks, thank you very much. My name is Anthony Williams, and as you can see, I'm here on the famous Kerry Street. Just the other day, we were here sampling views of Liberians as it relates to the arrival of a fleet of vehicles or buses in country by the National Transit Authority. This time around, we're here at the famous Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Views, or the famous CO here on Kerry Street, to sample the views of Liberians, this time about the MCC scorecard. Now, Liberia has made some significant mark in the indicators. In fact, 12 out of 22 assessed indicators. So we want to hear from Liberians here on Kerry Street what they make of those areas where Liberia has made significant improvement as it relates to the MCC scorecard, and those areas where Liberia have failed, and how they think Liberia can make some improvement in those key areas. Here, as just a little summary of the MCC report, Liberia have passed 12 out of 22 assessed indicators. The country have made notable success, talking about for the first time since 2007, Liberia have passed the fiscal policy indicator. Also, the inflation came down. Inflation in fiscal year 2026, inflation came down to about 7.6% compared to previous 29% in previous years also. And then this particular mark signals improved macro stability. And then also Liberia made strong performance in areas like gender in the economy. We're talking about 84%. The country also made improvement in land rights and assets. That's around 78%. Access to credit, 73%. And then freedom of information at up to 93%. That's a crucial mark there, and as it relates to passing 12 out of 22 indicators. But there are areas where the country also did not make significant marks. So we're talking about currently Liberia is still facing challenges in failed indicators, including civil liberties. We're talking about government effectiveness, girls' primary education completion rate. The rate of girls completing primary education has dropped. We're talking about child health, natural resource protection significantly. Is one area that was pointed out among several areas. For example, girls' primary education completion rate was very low at around 59%, and then placing Liberia in the bottom of 25th percentile globally for the indicators of girls' primary education. So, with all of these indicators, we'd love to hear from Liberians here at the famous CEO to tell us what they make of the MCC scorecard. Let's go there quickly, Aaron, and several of them are already lined up. They're willing to hear from us. So, just join me here quickly. Let me start with a few of them who are on the standby. Folks, I don't know how we're going to do this. Where do we stand to start the conversation? And we can just start from right here. Ms. Kamara, you want me to start with you?
Yes.
Okay, but this is CEO right here. If you look right behind me, this is the Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Opinions, the famous CEO on Kerry Street, right adjacent the fire service building. So I'm going to start with the first person. When I was here the other day, I spoke to Mr. Kroma, sorry, but he will introduce himself anyway. You can pass, don't worry, just pass. But it was about the NTA buses previously. But Mr. Kroma, this time around, I'm here for the MCC scorecard. The MCC scorecard is out, and Liberia have made significant marks, 12 out of 22 indicators. And of course, the government of Liberia is very happy about these marks. This morning, we had the Minister of Finance, Minister Augustine Gafwan on ELBC, talking about how the country intends to tap in these indicators to make some massive improvements as it relates to the country's development. So let's get your own view on the MCC scorecard and what you think of Liberia scoring 12 out of 22 indicators, though Liberia also has to make some improvements in other areas. Speaking about, you can pass please, speaking about female education, secondary education, child health, and other areas the country has to make improvement. Introduce yourself, then you tell us what you make about the scorecard.
Thank you very much. By identity, I'm Alfred Momokanaka Nkrumah, a rescue list. But as I said before, I will not allow my love for the government to betray my common sense.
You can do it like this. It's to avoid, yeah. No, you stand right by me.
I will not allow.
Come.
As I said before, I will not allow my love for the government to betray my common sense. I'm also saying I will not allow my disagreement with the government to also betray my common sense.
All right.
What am I saying? Let me acknowledge the MCC report card on Liberia. The report given on Liberia is factual, is fair enough, and I want to commend the MCC for such a report. The government is progressing. The government is making progress. But the government is making it nationally. So that they sound a bell in the ears of people who think that in opposition everything is wrong. No.
Okay.
This time around we should not be like that. Therefore we saw you are opposition or you choose to be opposition, but you should admit and not acknowledge the good. So I'm saying, based on the MCC report card, Liberia is making tremendous progress, and I think I acknowledge what Liberia is doing.
Okay.
I'm also saying the area that Liberia falls short, such as girl education, child health, rule of law, this area the government should try to work on it.
But the indicator also stated that Liberia has made significant impact impact in the areas of the fight against corruption and governance also. I know you mentioned the rule of law, but the fight against corruption and governance is also crucial. What do you think about that?
When the MCC talk about rule of law, specifically they are not looking at the corruption aspect. They are looking at the code. The code aspect, the performance, the code, how people get justice, how justice is being dispensed. I think about the MCC is talking about. And at that point, the government, in my mind, they are not doing well on that side. So they need to work on it. They need to go back to the drawing board and take the cards very seriously and acknowledge that yes, it is true that we ourselves will know that we are also in the area, so we will work towards it, we will work on that, and they will be helping the Liberian people also.
So let's talk about the fight against corruption. Like the compact mentioned that Liberia is making significant strides in the fight against corruption. Just the other day we saw the for the lack of a better word, the asset recovery team there putting out reports about public officials that they want to face the law for mismanaging government funds, public funds, and also the government of Liberia through the executive president BOAKAI have placed several government officials under investigation for alleged acts of corruption, and other efforts in the fight against corruption. What do you say to the MCC scorecards, indication that Liberia has made a significant effort in the fight against corruption?
With respect to the MCC report on the issue of corruption, I think they are fair enough. They are not. They are very fair with the government, except where for my own assessment, because the white man have to sit in England, New York, and give report on the government here, and maybe he not on the ground to see the reality. Our command is I'm on the ground seeing the reality. The president is doing well in terms of fighting corruption, but the form and manner, the implication involved, the misstep, sometimes we as a citizen on the ground, these are what we look at. For example, the president suspends official government who engage in the corruption. But in criminal mind, suspension should not be all to end. When somebody is suspended for corruption, he should be sent to court, be prosecuted, and if he found guilty for what he stole, the government should take that particular thing from him what he stole and place it in a government account and send it to jail. Then you are fighting corruption. But just to suspend someone and the person take the phone and go sit and enjoy with it, then you are not fighting corruption. So we are asking the government. I'm calling on the president.
George,
you are next. The MCC report is fair enough, and they should try to work on the issue of corruption. Don't just suspend and the people, because there are indicators, there are reports given on the people, corrupt official. You understand? Nobody just going to say, "Mama, you corrupt." The LSCC and the GSC, they are telling say, based on our investigation, Peter Brown is corrupt. So you as president, you want to take decision, don't just suspend and leave it.
Thank you very much.
With respect to the asset recovery, I just seen the radio this morning. The court also need to do well for us. The court, they need to make an input in fighting corruption. They need to help the executive to fight corruption. Because if John Brown is accused of corruption and that John Brown is taking the court, and the court for every time they suspend the hearing, they baffle the hearing, another day they don't in court, they give excuse. you are giving to long time for people, other people to steal. But if you take a drastic action, you cannot wait verdict. Some people say today we know Peter Brown, you are guilty for corruption. All the cases we went through, you are wrong, and that you have to go to jail for 10 years. Right. When when that is done, Peter will not engage in corruption. Peter will be afraid that we got a system that checking all and that here to punish all. So in actuality, in every field, notice the report card is fair enough with the country, and I'm asking the executive to also go ahead. The area that they not do well, they should improve on it.
Okay, thank you very much, but I'm not going to leave you because Josh is obviously going to counter you. You remember the other day how it went, so you have to stick around to also respond. Once he gives his TC statement and he lands, then you will come in quickly. So Josh, just join us right here and then introduce yourself also quickly.
Yeah, thank you. My name is George Dankwa.
Okay.
I am from the CDC.
Oh, you are a partisan of the CDC?
Yes, and I remain partisan of the CDC.
Okay, great. But we just soliciting views of random Liberians. But we acknowledge your party stuff. Now, Liberia has made significant strides as per the MCC report. The country have had 12 out of 22 assessed indicators. In areas where they've made notable efforts, they have up to, for the first time since 2007, the country passed the fiscal policy indicator. Inflation came down to 7.6% compared to 29% in prior years. Strong performance in gender in the economy, around 84%. Land rights and access, 78%. Access to credit, 73%. Freedom of information, 93%. And then other areas like the fight against corruption and governance are areas where the government have made strides. But the government also have, according to the MCC, have failed in other areas. Child health, governance, effectiveness, girls' primary education completion rate, and several other areas. With these numbers, what do you say about the MCC scorecard as a Liberian from both ends where Liberia made strides and where they didn't make strides?
Firstly, let me appreciate the government on this. We do appreciate the government, but there are some mistakes, and I think the government need to work on it.
And what are those mistakes for you?
Yeah, the issue about the rule of law.
Okay.
If you check on it, the government failed massively in terms of the rule of law. I think the government can come back to make a scrap to see how best the rule of law issue can be settled. The issue about the unemployment rate, because
let's go to the rule of law. What specific area you think the government is not making effort as it relates to maintaining rule of law in Liberia?
This morning you saw the invasion there.
Eviction?
Was
it eviction or lawful?
No, I come in now. You saw the eviction at Red Light. You have people, they don't want to abide by the rules and regulations of our country. So you got them doing all kinds of things today that make the country on that side was ungovernable today. I think you yourself, you saw it. Yeah. So the rule of law is not maintaining our country. And you saw the issue with
Liberians are not abiding by the law, or government is not enforcing the law. Which one? Because the government went there. Sorry to say, Josh, we'll continue. Let's make it conversational. The police went there to implement the law. The citizens were resisting the police from doing their job. So who is not implementing rule of law here in this case?
I think the citizens, the government, they made a blunt mistake. That is why the government need to try next time on the issue about the rule of law. So the next issue is this: the unemployment rate in the country is high, and I think you saw the grade. And there are a lot of people that are unemployed. Like some of our friends that come to say they are CEO. There are a lot of unemployed people in this country, and I think the president promised a lot of things. The president promised all investors, he promised all that he will bring companies to the country. At the end of the day, we haven't seen a company, but the government of Mr. BOAKAI, they can still work up because they still have some years, and they can still work up to make sure the next company we're going to look at it. We're going to be victorious. The unemployment rate is not going to be high anymore, but it's going to decrease. So we hope that the government will take note on the issue about the child education and education very well. Mr. BOAKAI informed us that the children will no longer stay in the street. I think you listen to it.
It's President BOAKAI, though.
President BOAKAI informed us that the children no longer stay in the street. But today we're seeing children staying in the street, instead of them going to various schools around here. So I think the government will have to put in some policy that will make sure people will not. The children will no longer stay in the street, so that they can be able to provide good education service for our brothers, our sisters that are staying in the street, so that they can take them from there. Because the issue about children staying in the street, it is high. You go Broad Street, you'll see it. Go right around the street, Leggett Street, you'll see it. Even the Carrier Street, you will see it. So I think the government can still make a success and come back in the next compass. That is my exception. That is my argument concerning the compass.
Yeah. But do you think do you think the compact was fair to say that the government is making strides in the fight against corruption?
The fight against corruption, firstly, we should appreciate the government for making a stride against corruption. For some of us, our perspective, we take it from different angle. Okay. You understand? We appreciate the government on the issue about the stride against corruption. Anyone that feels to be corrupt, the government should arrest them and they should be prosecuted. And the government shouldn't stop there by enforcing their own opposition political leader, even people within this government. We couldn't ask Mr. BOAKAI concerning the FOIA mansion. The mansion there in FOIA. How far with the marginal issue? The last time we listened to Daniel Sano said it was a manual rural union. The next time we listened to the public welfare minister, he informed us.
So do you have credible information that that's a mansion for the president?
But
the FOIA project?
There is no way a condominium will be built over there without the owner. We couldn't ask. That is why we couldn't ask the government.
You don't know who the owner is?
Listen, here is my issue, right? There is no way a big building will go over there without us knowing the owner. So that is why we're trying to ask the question to the government like bro.
So you're talking about accountability here?
Accountability. All that to do accountability. So the issue about corruption shouldn't be one-sided. The late Sylvester Grace pay, when you want to last one, you took over 500,000. Where is that investigation? Where is that investigation? The late Sylvester Grace pay.
There is proof that he
500,000 for inaugural vehicle in this country. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Where is that investigation? We hear all the corruption allegations, all the people here, but the president failed to take action. Even though he's trying his best, but we look forward to the very, very best. I'm going to move Mama Labrador forward.
There are efforts currently with the asset recovery team. They're pointing out officials of government who they believe mismanage government funds, all of that.
Yeah, we appreciate it, but it shouldn't be one-sided.
So you think it's
there
one-sided?
There are some people in this government that are being condemned, but they can go there in there, they're hiding it. Okay. You see it? They are hiding it. And we want the president to take an effort. We want the asset recovery team to go beyond. Those that are being condemned in there, like, only go there. We want the government like, to go beyond it. Right. Because this country, our people are tired of suffering. Our people can't keep suffering. There's certain group of people benefiting, certain group of people being condemned, certain group of people enjoying the state resources. There are people suffering.
Okay.
So we want the president and the government Labrador to take action. And we want the president and the government Labrador to give a good grade in next compass. The issue about rule of law. We want good grade from the rule of law issue.
Yeah, so the government this morning, the Minister of Finance was on ELBC, and he said the government, of course, obviously want to get to the next compact. Hopefully, they're making efforts. I like how you are encouraging them to do so. But thanks for talking to me again, Josh.
Yeah.
And I want to say this. Yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to say this time around, I think it's more healthy than the previous one we had. The folks in the comment section, they almost, I mean, like, I don't know, but I don't want to speak for them. But this time around, I think it's more healthy. You can put your point through without trying to probably want to control the interviewer. I own this space, and we can keep it healthy if we both make it conversational.
And we respect you as an interviewer owning the space, but here's the issue. Mm-hmm. If it comes for us to discuss policy and national issues on the side in which the government is not doing good things, we'll say it.
Okay. I will stop you.
Thank you. We just hope that you guys will not stop us from saying the wrong thing about this government.
This is a national platform.
For me, once I see the right thing, I will try to praise it. I see the wrong thing, I criticize it. That's me right there.
Okay.
If the government is progressing, we'll praise it. If the government is not progressing, we'll try to say it.
So before I leave you, in summary, what's your final say about the MCC scorecard? Positive, negative, everything.
So my final say about the MCC scorecard, sorry to say, is for the government to do better next time. Okay. Because this one is not okay. Because rule of law, it is paramount issue in our country.
Then the other area.
Thank you. Yeah. Once you have a lawless state, it is not okay. Right. That is why you saw the invasion this morning. People are being lawless on the street. People are chunking. People are doing all of things. So we want the president to do something best in the next time so that our country, Mama Labrador, can move forward. And we look forward to a better interview next time.
Thank you very much, Josh. Well, Josh has just left. But, I mean, do you agree with everything he said? Or what do you not agree with in what he just said?
I think we almost in similar direction. It's just that he tried to partisanlize his argument, which I'm not seeing from that perspective.
Okay.
Because being opposition does not mean it should be against everybody.
All right.
But the issue of rule of law, as I said, the government need to improve on it.
Okay.
Rule of law is very cardinal to our existence. So you cannot be the president, then you compromise the rule of law. Certain people are wrong, certain people are right. I, as a supporter of the regime, I will not accept it. I will solely oppose that. So that one, as in the scene of corruption, I don't want to see my president. I want it to succeed. I want the government to succeed, because when the government succeed, it's a boost for me as a supporter of the government. Even if I'm not a supporter, it's a boost for me, because the country is better, then myself will be better. So I don't want to see my president trying to be in sympathy with certain people who are corrupt and be against other people who are also corrupt. I think it should be done on a fair basis. If his own children, if for instance they are in government and he think they stole $1, they should be prosecuted. If they, anyway, children or family member commit crime and he took the action against the government immigration. The former commissioner for immigration. That is against me. I love that decision he took against him and other people. The government. The LRC. These are people who here from in the county. But again, it's not their go about suspending. There's something wrong when you suspend, because it is on the basis of GAC and LSCC report that you take a decision. So after taking a decision, make sure you take a decision to the fullest. If Peter Brown is caught into corruption, it should be sent to jail, seize everything that is stole, and place him behind bars for 10 years, then be there for 10 years. Even if the law says he should be killed, kill him. Then you make it the country better.
Thank you for that corruption discussion. But before I leave you, lastly, this morning, one of the questions I was asked or posed to the finance minister was, where does Liberia intend to make intervention? You know, the MCC's scorecard also does come with, a financial component. So where does Liberia intend to make, intervention? He made it clear and said 2 crucial areas: energy and infrastructure. Do you agree with him?
That is the Minister of Finance, right?
Yes.
I agree with him. They need to do better on the issue of energy. Yes. They need to do well on the issue of energy. Because infrastructure, when energy is perfectly in place, infrastructure will follow. That's my understanding. But if energy is dormant, you will not have the time, the funding to even put into infrastructure development. It will be difficult. So I agree with the Minister of Finance. It's just that I also want to call on the Minister of Finance. Sometimes he should be the last to speak. He should take time before he speaks, because sometimes when you fast to talk, there are things you say, it might go against you. And that's why he made a statement. He said that was a mistake. But he did not take the report, the project. He did not take the project and look at it before submitting it to the house. You have to look at it and see all the mistakes and error before. But after submitting them, before coming to identify the error and admitting that there is an error, people will say, but then something wrong somewhere. So next time I advise him to look at things cleverly before he talk.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Tell us the name again finally.
By identity, I'm Alfred Momokana Kaikoma, a rescue list.
Oh, a rescue list. We previously had the other guy from the CDC, since you want military political
my own words.
You're a rescue list, he a sedition. But nice talking to the two of you. I like how we kept it healthy and professional. Thank you very much. So folks, we'll have our next batch of 2 persons. You just heard it from them. They are more concerned about the government of Liberia making more efforts in making improvements in the area of rule of law as it relates to the MCC's scorecard. So we'll have the next young man here. He's just right by me. Kindly join me quickly. Once we're done, then we join you. Then the 2 of you, we can finalize it. So you kindly introduce yourself for me quickly.
So my name is Rufus PC Dix the third.
Rufus the camera.
Yeah, so I want to say thanks to the state media for coming to the perimeter on the street to solicit the views of many Liberians.
Okay, but let's go to the issue quickly. You are aware of the MCC scorecard. We did a little summary even before we got on camera. So we want you to give us your own view. From both angles, Liberia have made significant strides, and there are areas where, according to the scorecard, Liberia has to improve. What are your thoughts?
Also, I'm speaking as a patriotic Liberian. And I want to say, on the passing of the score or the MCC scorecard, it's on conditions, because there are 2 types of parts, right? You pass perfectly and you pass on conditions. Liberia pass on conditions.
How do you mean when you say on conditions? Because in the indicators that were spelled out by the MCC, it says Liberia have made significant strides in those areas. 12 out of 22.
No, we can celebrate 12 out of 22 because
no, we are not the ones saying it. It's the MCC that is actually saying it.
I get you, Chief. I get you.
Okay.
We never celebrated 14 out of 20. Today, Liberian, you expect Liberian to celebrate 12 out of 22? No. So what do I mean? If we celebrate 12 out of 22, then we should be celebrating the protection of natural resources of Liberia. But today, in the MCC scorecard, our resources are not protected. Okay. Then how can I celebrate when my resources are not protected in this country? How I can celebrate when the rule of law are not protected by the government of the Republic of Liberia, as spearheaded by President Joseph BOAKAI? I cannot celebrate that. I cannot celebrate when my sisters are not going to school.
Okay.
I cannot celebrate. I will celebrate when the resources of the Republic of Liberia are protected by this government. I will celebrate when the rule of law of this country is protected by Mr. BOAKAI, President BOAKAI. These are the things I will celebrate in this country. So I want to say to the world, and I want to clearly state this, be clear on this today, on this public platform, that those of them that are responsible to carry on background investigations on grain Liberia concerning those things, they need to come down to forward attire shops, go in the markets, and then solicit the views of Liberian, what they are confronted with. You can just sit up there and then some of us report. And
so you don't believe that the MCC did not do her own on-ground investigation? You think they just sat in the US and just concluded on the indicator or on the numbers?
Absolutely. Veterans, journalists, they sat them up there. Because if you come down to in Liberia and then carry on your background investigations, Liberians are crying. Liberians are not protected. Liberians are vulnerable on the street. Liberians are hungry.
Okay, but the areas where the MCC says Liberia has to do more, which you your very self have just spoken about, or you just spoke about, they also sat there and just grabbed those information. Also, are you saying are you in line with that?
No.
So those ones they got them by doing research.
Chief.
For the ones that Liberia passed in, they just sat there and grabbed them.
We have one of the top ambassadors for America, McCarthy. He was behind the government back when I saw Kimi. You can remember, McCarthy was here critiquing the government, where the government striving. McCarthy was here going to federal contest. You witnessed it, you saw it. McCarthy champion information to the people. Significant information to the American government by then. But today, we can celebrate those reports. No, as a Liberian, I can celebrate those reports because Liberian, we gotta look in that report and outline those parts, those things that they said make scrap, they make scrap in, and then come back to the Liberian and tell the Liberian that yes indeed, because Liberian will celebrate like I told you. Liberian will celebrate those things and what I listed to you because it is very much us important for us. So veteran, we need to be clear to the world that Liberians today they are not satisfied. They are not satisfied with this report. Those reports are very troubling. They pass on conditions. They should celebrate those reports.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so kindly.
You'll join me again quickly once he comes to give his view.
Okay.
Because I'm of the conviction he wants to counter you. So then we can just do a little summary before you leave. So you heard it from him. He cannot celebrate the MCC scorecard. There are several areas, of course, according to the MCC itself, that Liberia has to make improvement. He thinks Liberia did not make any improvement if resources are not protected, if the girl child education is not being prioritized, and several other areas. But let's join our next discussant. He will kindly introduce himself for us quickly.
Well, I'm J. Afmaki Makambi of the National Patriotic Party, Stroke United Party.
Oh, really? So anyway, but it's fine. Thanks for mentioning your party, but we were just sampling random view from random people. Nice one. So quickly, you following the conversation. Liberia, the MCC scorecard is out for Liberia, and according to when I asked you earlier, you said you heard about it. So I'm sure you know by now what's going on. What is your take?
Well, I give credit to the government for making this mark because from the past, we met the country in deficit, and then President BOAKAI was able to resuscitate the country from that deficit position up to this standard, and credibility coming from the international community, giving all this back, is welcoming.
Okay.
It's acceptable to us.
There are areas where the report says Liberia has to make some significant strides. You heard it from him. He said he cannot honor the results because the country's resources are not protected, according to the MCC scorecard. Girl child education is not prioritized. Child health is also another significant area that we have to improve. What do you say?
Well, thank you very much. I think he is on course. He did well by pointing out these real areas. I think when we talk about rule of law claims everything.
Okay.
Rule of law creates security for the environment. All right? When you talk about child health is not protected, that's rule of law. And not that the law is not there, it's on the book, but it are not being enforced by the Ministry of Justice and a co-host.
Okay.
All right? So President BOAKAI needs to maintain the Ministry of Justice and the security environment to take rule of law serious. Because can you imagine? Look at the dilapidated building in Monrovia, and nobody cares. Now people are jobless. If you can pass mandate now that the people must build a building in Monrovia and repair their broken parts in Monrovia, you think people will be coming to discuss policy here? Money will be running in the street, but because business people are making money in the street and they are keeping the money because the dilapidated buildings are in Monrovia and they are not being repaired, and nobody mandating them to repair these buildings, nobody mandating them to pin their building up to city standard. The money remain with them. You know what they are doing now? Because of nobody following the rule in this country, they are becoming to hold the money. The Liberian dollar is in the hands of the business people just to buy US dollar and take it to their country through money laundering. And this is what getting the country dry out of gas. You see the business community now? Hey, looking because they are holding the money. But if you take the US dollar now and put it into our international reserve, as according to rule of law, and then let Liberia our way with our local currency by the means of rule of law. In this country, you will see people who carry that money in the bank. They will not keep the money again because no way to buy US in the street. Okay? You will see money will flow here and everybody will start doing one or two things for themselves. Okay. So government needs to take rule of law serious to ensure that rule of law is being held to the highest. Right. Because outside of rule of law, there will be no way for government to improve anything yet. Okay. I think we are making bad, but it cannot be shown because of what? Lack of rule of law. Can you imagine? This country, we have money in this country. Okay. As the minister said, he wants us to go and make improvement in the energy sector. I think I said disappointment. I said no. Go to the economic policy first, because that's the goalpost of the economy. Okay. Where the goalkeeper is there, you got a strong goalkeeper in the economic policy. There will be nobody where will score negative goals against you. Okay. So the economic policy should be attacked and well protected. If you go into the energy sector now to generate money, it will remain in Liberia. So if you go into any sector to generate money, it will remain in Liberia. But until that happens, the economic policy is bad. The dual currency policy is what are killing this country. We need to get rid of it.
So don't you think there is some low progress or effort? Because according to President BOAKAI, in fact, the Minister of Finance himself, the government is trying to see if they can transform or take Liberia's economy from an aid-dominant economy to a more economic or a business-oriented or trade-oriented economy. What do you say about that lastly before I leave you?
Thank you very much. The only way that can happen, as I'm telling you, is to start putting more US dollar up. Look at the salary structure that the minister is giving. Okay. Giving 70% US dollar. And when that money get in the street, the business people hold it, they take it to their home. All right. Okay? But if you're getting more Liberian dollar in the street, it will spread. Nobody will take it away from here.
Thank you very much for talking to us. What did you say your name was again?
I'm J. Abake Makambi.
All right. Thank you very much. So, lastly, before I leave you, I think he kind of sided with you. He spoke about the government making efforts in the rule of law. But what does he talk about that probably you want to counter before we leave you?
No, he was just flowing what I said on employment, because Liberians have to be employed. Right. Yeah, we witnessed, but then the report came, the MCC report presented to us that 100%, all of 100% Liberians on the jobs we have government, but then the CDC, they make 100% mark on employment. Meaning, my job of Liberian were employed. But today,
in the
it's 9%.
MCC report,
yes.
Liberia made 100% in unemployment.
Unemployment. Today, we witnessing 9%.
Okay, we'll look that up, but thanks for talking to us.
Thank you so very kindly. My name is Rufus Dix again.
All right, Rufus, thank you. We'll take our final few batch of discussants here, and then we'll bring this to an end. This will be our final few batch of discussants. Sir, following the discussion, you stood by and you followed the discussion. We're talking about the MCC scorecard. According to the MCC, Liberia have made some significant marks. 12 out of 22 in areas like the fight against corruption, in governance and other areas the government is trying. They're also not making efforts in other areas. What do you say?
So the name remains Joel D. Nyakon. Firstly, let me applaud the government for maintaining a passing mark. And let me just applaud Liberia for maintaining a passing mark since it was 2023. This is not strange to us because we have been doing significant well. That is since 2023. 2023 out of 22 indicators we passed. As a country, we passed 14. That was applauding. We passed last year, and 2026 again we passed. So sometimes let's forgo politics and look at key national issues. I think what we should be discussing on this scorecard is where we had our poor performances from, and how can we improve as a country or as a government. And let's look at the scorecard. There are various indicators we keep failing in. And how can we improve those indicators?
And what are some of those areas that you have found out that we're not doing well? And how
let's look at rule of law.
Okay.
Rule of law is not a strange thing to any government. Rule of law has been one of our major issues when it comes to the scorecard. Let's look at fiscal policy.
Yeah.
Where since 2007 is our first time passing in recent time. These are things that we should be discussing in that score mark. But not the issue of the political side. Okay. The point that always come, people will say, oh yeah, George, we have passed 22, we passed 14, people did not celebrate it. Yeah. That's the political nature. The current president, other 22, he passed 12. Other people will not celebrate him from the other side of the divide. That's the political nature. Right. But let's go into the scorecard. Meaning, sometimes you project other activities on the scorecard that you improve on. Let's look at our inflation. Over the years, since 2017, our inflation rate have been decimally performed. Let me just give you some statistics about the inflation. So in 2018, our inflation was 4.7. In 2019, our inflation was 10.0. In 2020, our inflation was 16.9. In 2021, our inflation was 7.82. In 2022, our inflation raised again to 9.12. In 2023, our inflation rate went to 10.9. So it means our inflation was not decreasing, but it was going up. Now let's look at 2024. In 2025, inflation dropped to 4.22. In 2025, it dropped decimally to 4.7. So it means that we have been making some strides in those areas that were decimally performing.
Okay, now, he spoke. Speaking of inflation, he just spoke about Liberia making efforts in the economic policy. We have to work on it because that's where, according to him, is the bedrock of development. But we are working on inflation as per the MCC report. Are we making any positive strides in that direction?
Yes, we are making. Because if you look at the MCC report, we are making strides. Because per MC analysis and their statistics, they give us 7.6.
Sure.
But if you go to geo-economic record, they gave Liberia economy, the inflation has dropped to 4.4, and Liberia is ranked out of 53 countries. Liberia now per inflation rate, Liberia is 21.
Sure.
So it means that Liberia is making progress.
Okay.
Liberia is making progress. So at some of these places where we are making progress, these are places that the discussion you focus on.
All right. So I don't want to keep you for long, but just give us a summary of what you make of this entire scorecard. The minister this morning, Minister of Finance, did say, because you know the financial component of the scorecard, or the compact. Let's talk about the compact. And he said Liberia wants to make strides or make impact in the energy and infrastructure sector. Do you agree with him?
So thank God some of us are at practicing engineer, and these are sectors that we have interest into, and these are sectors that Liberia have to improve on. So to know, we have already secured and demand from the previous scorecard. That is the 14. When we pass the 22, the 14 or the 22 indicators, we already secured, and because the evaluation team came. So we pray again that we secure another amount from the current scorecard. So it means that we are not retrogressing, we are progressing. Not just passing the scorecard, but securing benefit.
Yeah, the compact.
From the compact. So passing the compact is one, but have the compact yield benefit for you? That's what we should. These are things that we look at in the compact. Not just passing the compact, but the benefit, the cost benefit analysis that come with passing back.
Okay.
So they have done evaluation. We pray that those sectors that we are given to the Mediterranean development compact, they should look at these sectors and work with the sector, and even the 12 indicator will pass. If there's any benefit, we will give another sectors to work in. Okay. Because like you relate the minister, he said the energy sector, right?
Yes. And
these are sectors that have been dead over a long time.
With the indicators, do you think Liberia can work on being qualified for another compact?
I think, like I said from my previous, we have been doing well. If you look, because it's a periodic passing mark.
Oh, yeah.
2023, 2024, 2026. So it means that we have been doing well with the issue of a passing. But the benefit that come with it,
are you optimistic we can get?
I'm 100%. I'm 100% optimistic that the next compact will really score more marks.
Okay.
Because last year was how much? 11.
Yes, right.
This year is 12.
Yeah.
So we know if we're going to 15 or 22.
But we won't have 14 also.
Yeah. So when we have 14, it means that we got 15, we got 16 or 22.
Okay.
So it means that we are progressing, not retrogressing.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Tell me your name lastly before we leave.
So your name remains Joel D. Nyangon.
All right, Joel. Thanks for the conversation. That was very smart. You did hear from Joel. With John, I guess our final person. We'll now get the last two persons, and then we can bring this one in. But kindly introduce yourself for us, and I'm sure you're following the conversation, and you tell us what you make of the compact.
So thank you. I'm Leon Basonga City, and I hail from the township of West Point.
Okay.
And I follow the conversation, the public conversation, and then the debate around the newest, grading from the Millennium Challenge Corporation or the compact. I think the reports on Liberia this time around for 2026, the fiscal year 2026 is very much essential. If you look at all of the 12 indicators that this government fall short, they fall short in some, they fall short in the rule of law, and they did extremely well in the fiscal policy, and transparency and accountability in the fiscal policy. They did extremely well in international trade, accessing market internationally. They did extremely well. They did extremely well on freedom of information. Sure. It's called 93. There is unprecedented. And that is a clear indication that the government have an open government policy where the ordinary citizens are from West Point access, the government policy or the government information. So they are doing extremely well.
What can they do to work on the areas that they are now making strides that have been spelled out by the MCC? We're talking about girl child education, health, and the rule of law in other areas. How can they make improvements?
I think what we need to do is to ride on the shoulder of accountability in our fiscal space, the budget. Okay. Talking about more girls, if I stand to be corrected, about 50+% of Liberian young girls, they are out of school, according to UNESCO representative.
Is that data credible?
I'm not. The answer I stand to be corrected. Okay. I'm still. It's a presumption. Okay. So that identical data alone clearly spell out that we need to do more in the education. But in the education, I think the first budget year of Mr. BOAKAI, they did extremely well. CDC left the education as 96 medium. The annual budget at 96 medium. The past going budget of 2025, the government rose the budget to 111.something million. So that is a scrap. I think more need to be done in the budget. Like you listen to the World Bank has managed to contribute 80+ million to build 100 schools across rural Liberia. That identical school will incorporate young girls and incorporate emerging young leaders. So the Millennium Challenge compare it is an open, report for us because they have 22 indicators. Out of the 22 indicators, we were able to do extremely well in 12, able to pass 12. One of the essential indicators that I think the government did extremely well in is fiscal accountability. In the fiscal space, once you have a very good manage a fiscal space driven by accountability, you understand that you'll be able to control inflation. So inflation has dropped from 26% to 4.7%. I think the government did extremely well. So on that basis, we would like to say the government is trying, but the government need to do more. Because you talk about the rule of law. Rule of law is not only the executive. You have the judiciary. And the judiciary have to work on top of them, not to be suspending cases or when people want to have their day in court.
Okay, great. So the judiciary
they have to do more accountability to do as well on the man law. The judiciary, since the judiciary will not understand comprehensive.
I don't keep you. Let's take the last few persons so we bring this to an end. It's been quite a long video now already. Kindly introduce yourself. I guess you're following the Discord or the conversation, and tell us what you make of the MCC scorecard. 2 areas Liberia have made strides positively in some areas, and some areas the MCC is recommending that Liberia does more or do more. What's your name and what are your thoughts?
Thank you very much. The name remains Ruben Balasoko. I listened to the conversation. I think there's a problem somewhere.
Where is that?
12-14.
So
12.
So it's not about comparison necessarily.
To a point. In competitive politics, competitive governance, we are concerned. The Unity Party-led government is aware that the George Weah administration had challenges on the scorecard. So by then, today, we think it should have been more better than the George Weah administration.
You think this one should have been higher than the previous one?
Of course, yes. But it remains the fact. Nothing has changed. We are agitating that this government should focus on sustaining low inflation so as to strengthening household purchasing power.
But it
is an issue.
But this report
second, we are concerned.
No, but do you want to accept that this report?
There is still an issue. There are a lot of issues. No, but wait. Let's do a bit about it. I believe that time is in your favor. Yeah, let's do a bit about it. Yeah, bit about it.
Say this government has to make at the level where it can. Of course, this current can you accept that?
Now, there is still a problem. If the government, I wouldn't accept it because
you didn't mention that it has to.
Now look at the trigger down income. Now look at the trigger down income.
That the government has to.
Now what's the percentage of employment? Now with the report, what's the percentage of employment?
What also is the percentage of inflation that
now,
you see the government?
This is paramount. If inflation is low, there are going to be more job creation. That's the reason why government should focus on sustaining low inflation.
It has done.
I don't want us to dignify.
I'm not dignifying.
Yes,
after the report, it's there.
Now give me a chance now. You need to solicit my opinion.
Obviously, you have this right
to debate.
We're having a conversation.
Now, let me real here. The report is 12-22. The pass 14-22. That means we're coming down. Gradually, we are going down, and this is a single. I don't just want an aspect of celebration. 14, 22, 12, 22. Government has to double up. Let's go to the aspect of rule of law. Well, politically, the lack of rule of law distracts good governance. The lack of rule of law is corruption. So what government needs to do is not just to appoint or nominate partisans on the Supreme Court bench. It's to ensure that nominees are based on a 3 institutional benchmark: competency, morality, and experience. But both of the appointments that are made in the judicial era are based on political affiliation. So once there is political affiliation, there will be compromise. Because the act of political affiliation is corruption. So the judicial system will not do well except government recalibrate to appoint people based on the three institutional benchmark. So we think that the government needs to double up. The score is not encouraging as compared to the previous government score. So it's a challenge to this government that more needs to be done to enhance Liberia and become victorious as it comes to the grading of the scorecard. That is my recommendation.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Your name was?
My name remains Ruben Barasogo, the chairman of the Intellectual Response Unit of the Martin Congress for Democratic Change, the CDC.
Thank you very much for talking to me.
It's a pleasure.
Folks, this is how we will bring this conversation to an end. We are currently having a low challenge. So we will now bring this particular edition or this conversation. The MCC scorecard is out. Liberia has scored 12 out of 22. There are several areas that Liberia has to make significant strides. Speaking of girl child education, health access to health, several other areas that the MCC has spelled out that Liberia has to make significant improvement. But again, there you have it. You heard from those Liberians, several Liberians here at CO, the famous CO, and they're recommending that Liberia does more in the area of rule of law. At the same time, there are those of them who have been encouraging the country or who have been taking the government, congratulating the government for making a successful pass in the MCC scorecard. The government of Liberia, through the Minister of Finance, have said that the country is trying its possible best to see if it can be qualified for a better MCC scorecard. And we want to make significant import or impact in the areas of energy and infrastructure. My name is Anthony Williams. I've been here with my teammates Yasa Suba, Aaron Talu, Mr. D-Flow Flomo. Wherever you watched us from, thanks for watching from CO on Kerry Street. Bye-bye for now. Vasco! Vasco! Come here.